Down the way, down Mexico way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Around the World with Duff. That's me, Duff. Oh, sorry. Let me just take off my McDonald plaid tartan clan. Oh, no. Oh, no. What's going on? Wow. Sometimes you have to rehearse things before you do them. Welcome, everybody, to Around the World with Duff. That's me, and that's right there. I still can't get used to doing it backwards. Right there, Around the World with Duff. Today is Saturday, and it's 1 p.m. and it's 30 degrees Celsius in Toronto today. It's so hot. But I'm really glad you guys can join us. We've got some great people with us. Chris, my friend Chris. Hello, Christopher. And Karen. Hi, guys. I think Karen's overseas. So we've got people from all over the place already tuning in. Today we are in Mexico with my friend Sandra. I will refer to her by her proper name, Sandra. And my co-host today is Donald Christine Ackerman. No, I'm just kidding. Don is having a little bit technical difficulty, so he'll join us in a few minutes. I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. Those of you who haven't joined the show, this show Around the World with Duff is me sitting down and chatting with different people from all across the globe and checking in. Originally, it started with COVID. I was just trying to get rid of the media and go directly to people in each country and find out how they are, what their daily lives are like. And how they're coping, and and also check in with the stats of their country, just so we know, without any sort of like added layering of the media on top and politics and everything else, just to check in with the people of that country. And so this is proven to be quite educational for me, and as well for people who have watched. It's been eye-opening, that's for sure. And then, of course, we got hit with the movement of Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and the systemic racism that has always existed. It just really came to light during George Floyd's death. So then I had to reassess. And so I've reassessed. And so now we are realizing that the two are interwoven. I believe they are interwoven. If it wasn't for COVID, people en masse would not have gone out and protested. And it's global, my friends. Let's remember that this is a global movement across the board. And Sandra and I are going to talk about that as well. In Mexico, there's systemic racism there between Aboriginal and people of the land. So I'm really looking forward to discussing that. So this show happens on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I try to do 1 p.m., but it's pretty difficult. I've got some more people chiming in here. Hello, Holly from PEI and Christina from Ireland. Everyone, thank you again for supporting the show. Really appreciate you chiming in. And if you have any questions as well, we welcome questions. And also, if anyone wants to come on screen with us and have a discussion, I welcome that as well. There's no time limit. We could be doing this all afternoon. Doesn't matter. So please subscribe if you want to get more updates on what's happening. Let me just find my thingamajiggy. So go to YouTube and subscribe at Duff McDonald. It's very simple. And you'll get a notification if you've subscribed that the show is happening. It's happening and streaming also on Facebook. Two different pages, my personal page and Around the World with Duff page separate. So yes, thanks you guys. We've got over 300 subscribers on Facebook page, so really appreciate it. My guest next week, just so we can get to that before we get to Sandra, is my cousin Glenna, who is living in the Grand Cayman in the Caribbean. She has worked for the United Nations for many, many years and has lived abroad all over the place in Saudi Arabia and Switzerland. And so a super interesting conversation. I was in New York before all of this, and she took me on a tour of the United Nations. So it pays to have friends in high places. Maybe she can pull some strings for what's happening. So I also like to tune in with my favorite little country that my friend had tuned me into. Oh, there's Don. Oh, his shirt is translucent. That's so cool. Anyway, I like to check in with my favorite little country of Lesotho. It should have like its own theme song. Lesotho is a landlocked country, very high altitude, surrounded by South Africa, and it has the lowest of, well, actually, their cases have grown, and that's one reason why I keep following. I'm very intrigued with this country. This is Lesotho. For those of you who have joined us before, you know that I love to just look at Lesotho for a second, because it just makes everything okay. And this is also Lesotho. Lesotho has a population of 2.1 million. I don't see any people around that. This is one of the highest waterfalls in South Africa. It's 192 meters high. Malotsuana Falls in Lesotho. So last I checked, Lesotho had 30 some cases. It's now up to 44 cases, but 11 people have already recovered, and still 0 deaths. Super intrigued by that. I know that they have locked down. They have strict lockdown on that. Thank you, Karen. And that's I just, there's something about Lesotho that intrigues me. I also like to do anyway. I wish the people of Lesotho the best. They're also going through some political unrest as well with their president, I believe. So we want to wish Lesotho all the best. I like to do a COVID update as well. COVID. So, oh boy, things are on the uptick. That's for sure, and especially in the U.S. of A. Let's just go to the U.S. and global numbers. So the global numbers, cases, not people who have died. The global cases have now hit 11 million plus, which is horrible. It's, I mean, even since last week, I think it's almost 1 million people have tested. Now let's take into consideration that there are more tests going on, and there's also a lot more cases than our tests, right? So there's probably, that number is probably lower than the amount of people that are asymptomatic and also who have people, the tests that haven't been registered or whatever. So global deaths has also risen, and the U.S. is at the top of that with almost 130,000. Brazil is second at 61,000 deaths, and the United Kingdom, surprisingly, is at 44,000. I don't know what's happening in these countries, why that's going on. I don't know. People need to really take this seriously. We have to wear masks. We have to social distance. This virus is not fooling around. And Mexico, I wanted to, just before we talk to Sandra, I wanted to chime in about Mexico's COVID numbers. Cases of 245,251. It's pretty high, and actually I've heard that they're now on a surge of 6,000 cases per day. So Mexico has reversed their lockdown, or actually has reversed from being open to locking down again in some places. So, but the good thing in some ways is 145,205 people have recovered, and again, they have almost 30,000 deaths, which is a huge amount. But Mexico is quite heavily populated, especially Mexico City is the largest city, one of the largest cities in the world, I believe. So yes, we're going to talk to my friend Sandra about that. So also, I just wanted to hit upon Canada. So Alberta has quite a few tests going on, but still Ontario is leading in tests. Cases, Quebec, still horrible, 55,000 cases. Ontario is, I think, second at 35,000. And then we hit Alberta at 8,000. So I hear a lot of people saying, oh, we're fine. But actually, Alberta is third. So don't get too lackadaisical, my friends. Out there in the prairies. Saskatchewan's pretty low. BC is 3,000. So you can see BC is almost 3,000, but almost 3,000 have recovered. So that's really good. That's a good sign. But I'll just let you have a look at all of that yourself, and you can come back to this and look at it at your leisure. So it's also July 4th, and on that note, I want to bring in my co-host, who is actually in New York. My friend Donald Ackerman. I can't have music because Facebook will block it. So I have to sing every theme that I envision in my mind. My friends, I'd like to bring in my good friend and patriot, Don Ackerman.
Hey.
Hello, Don.
What up, Duff?
Good afternoon.
July 4th.
Yeah, that's quite a large flag you have in the back. One from one flag to another.
I'm not sure how proud I am of this flag at the moment, but it's got some, it actually should be like slightly like burnt, like meaning like it's weathered, like it's having issues.
Oh, yeah, right. Like it should be a little bit faded. It's not quite clear yet.
It shouldn't be this crisp because it's, it's not that pretty at the moment.
Yeah, no.
A few of these stars should be like weathered quite badly.
Do you know anything about the American flag? What that all stands for? I have no idea.
Well, the stars stand for all the states. There's 50 states plus Puerto Rico.
Right.
I know that the stripes mean something as well, but I can't actually remember. And that's a good question.
Didn't you have to take a test when you became an American?
I did, but they didn't ask about the stars and stripes.
Because that is probably the dumbest question they could ask you, right?
I'm actually Googling it right now.
And so is everyone who's watching. It was your mic. Okay, I'm just looking at what you sent me a message there.
So the stripes represent the 13 colonies.
Oh.
And the stars represent the 50 states.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So
and the red symbolizes hardiness, and the white symbolizes purity and innocence. Blue represents vigilance and perseverance and justice. Huh. So this flag is basically a bunch of bullshit.
Easy now, you're American.
Except for the stars and the stripes, they represent truth, but the colors, seriously, we need to work on the colors.
Yeah. I heard an interesting thing today, or read an interesting thing, is that the colonies, today is Independence Day, but that's independence from the British Empire, right? And actually what was formed on July 4th was actually a nation, not the states. The states actually came later with the what do you call it? The Constitution, right? This today is not really about the states, right? It's about the colonies and the creation of a nation, which is kind of like Canada becoming the Dominion. We became a nation on 1867, but not all the provinces were in on it, right? It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, same idea, because there's times where there's flags that don't have 50 stars on it because not all the states were created yet.
Oh, really? Ah, okay. That's interesting. So happy Independence Day, or Happy Nation Day. When you're probably the most independent person I know, that's for sure.
Yeah, you mean alone? Yeah, gotcha. Single? Yes, I'm single. Hey, folks, I'm single.
Yeah.
My phone number is blah, blah, blah.
We could start a whole. People want to know if you're making smoothies tonight.
No smoothies today, Karen. I already had a smoothie, and I should have made it with you guys again.
We could start a whole dating thing here, a campaign for Dawn.
I think I should do I'm going to do my own talk show, and it's just going to be about trying to date me.
I'd support it. I will fully support. I'll be your campaign manager.
Yeah, and then the show will end when I find a decent boyfriend or a decent man who's not crazy in the head.
God, so it'll go on for quite a few seasons then.
It might take a couple of seasons.
So I have an interesting.
Actually, that's a good idea. I could take my camera, my phone with me on dates and go, oh yeah, so we're live on my date right now on Facebook, just so you know. We're going to see how this turns out and just have our date all on live Facebook.
Yeah, you have to get a lot of waivers. I have an interesting fact. So July 4th, right, is Independence Day today, but in conjunction with the Black Lives Matter thing, I always like to keep that on the front of people's lobes. Is that we're always thinking about that during all of this, right? When we're celebrating our country's independence and what was actually happening in the country at that time wasn't good. Still, the country wasn't free. You know, they like to say land of liberty and freedom, but in 1755, is that when
56? 56?
Became, a nation. Slavery continued for another almost 90 years after that, right? So as the nation was formed, there was, slavery hadn't been abolished yet.
Well, not to completely burst your bubble, but and I know you've talked about this, and I know you've seen 13th, and you've seen I'm Not Your Negro, and all of that, and those are great. And one thing that they bring up is the fact that, in essence, for us to even say that we are a free nation is kind of a little bit of a hogwash, and there is just legalized slavery now, really, quite frankly.
Right.
And the prison system has basically legalized slavery, and has been for a very long time. And I'm sure you know this, but I'm sure your viewers may know this as well. But back in the day, after slavery was abolished, they basically went around and arrested Black men and women for doing frivolous things that they say were illegal, and threw them in jail and used them basically as slaves within the jail system. And that still happens to this day.
Under the
guise of the prison system.
Legalities.
It's like many things that are made and produced in America and that are even exported out to other countries are actually made by inmates.
Right.
And it's free labor because they don't have to pay them a wage.
Yeah.
I should correct that. I think they get paid like 2 cents an hour.
Right.
Or some bullshit like that.
And even the fact that the US and Canada supports and gets their products from China and other countries where people are making big slavery wage, like 2 cents, right? In other is supporting slavery of in China, really. I mean, we're still supporting it. They're trying now to stop, the influx of stuff from China, and because it's cheaper. People want cheaper products.
Slavery is still very much alive and well in the world.
Oh, for sure.
And America specifically, since we're talking about July 4th, but it's really the private prison system here is so corrupt. It drives me mad to even talk about it, to even think about it.
I wanted to say one of the main people who was a main figure in the abolitionist movement and became a statesman was Frederick Douglass. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I've never heard of him. Yeah,
see, this is the thing. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery in his early years and escaped slavery. It's quite a history, but if you really want to know more about Frederick Douglass, I suggest you Google him, because the man was a force and was working against the system when the system wasn't even developed yet, when the government was just being formed, right? He had this amazing speech that he wrote. He was also an amazing orator, and he taught other slaves how to write and read discreetly while he was in, what do they call them, where they're the farms, the huge.
I know exactly what you mean. I can't remember the name either.
I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody will tell us. So while he was working in the fields and for the white person was teaching on the DL everyone how to read and write, which I love. I love that. And so he had this amazing speech on July 5th, 1852. He said to I think he was at a meeting, a huge abolitionist meeting. He said, "I am not included within the pale of your glorious anniversary." He was a black man, by the way. That's obvious. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you, this day, rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought light and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. Oh, this is like, I'm getting really upset, but this 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice. I must mourn. I just think that's one of the most incredible speeches. And he said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. And that's what's happening right now is people are struggling, and we have to keep struggling. And as white people, you and I, Don, have to keep speaking up about this.
And one of the saddest things is that when you first asked me if I knew who that was, I had no idea who he was. It's because it was never put into Plantation. That's right, Chad.
Yes. Thank you, Chad.
But it's never, the sad part is that the fact that you asked me who that was and I didn't know who it was, and that just shows you right there that our history books have not been depicting the people and teaching us as children growing up who these people are and were, and instead we're making monuments to these people who owned slaves and killed slaves and won wars or were defeated in war, as some of them are. And it's really quite sad. And, and putting it as sort of in the entertainment industry, there was no movie made about this man either, which is quite sad. And not that movies are everything, but it does hit a big bracket of people to educate.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of sad.
I know. I was thinking as I was reading his bio and his life story, I was thinking, what an incredible movie, because that little snippet that I just gave you is nothing compared to what that man went through, from slavery all the way through people helping him gathering. He moved to England to get away from slavery. England raised money and bought him basically out of slavery. And then he returned to America. Like, he had to go to England to escape slavery.
When you sort of look at these stories of history, though, I really it as depressing as it is, it gives me hope, because there are people that are still fighting the fight, and and like you said, you need a little bit of devastation in order to have progression. And it's sad that people have to die, and they shouldn't have to die, especially in this day and age. It's just unnecessary for people to die in order to make progression with the movement.
Well, it's always been about sacrifice. There's always got to be sacrifices. Like, we talk about other countries and people in order for sometimes for people to move ahead, there has to be sacrifice, and it's sad, but it's I guess it's just the way of the human. But I really like what you said that we're bringing education and hope to people, and that actually is what this is about, this whole show. On that note, then, Donald, happy nation to you, but I would like to bring in our third free trade partner.
He's gorgeous too,
my good friend Sandra, who is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Are you there, Sandra?
Here I am.
Hey,
so
hola.
Interesting. Bravo for all what you said. My gosh.
Thank you, honey.
I already have a list for this beautiful man here. You
Yeah.
already have a Mexican boyfriend. He's
Uh,
waiting for you, baby.
Oh, like
Hey, she tried to set me up when I was there.
And he doesn't like face life. He's fine just to date you and live with you. He
Perfect.
says
oh,
it's fine.
perfect,
Don't
perfect.
you're set up.
Oh
Your
my,
Independence Day is over.
holy
And
shit! I'll see you guys
you
later.
said you wanted not to be in the take 3 stars away from them.
Yeah.
Bring your ass down here.
Time
I'm
to
Well,
moving to Mexico. I'm moving to Mexico.
yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that, beautiful.
Sandra, thank
Yeah.
you
But
so much for joining
it's
us.
really interesting to listen to you. Um, it is for for me as a Mexican that adores my country and adore the human beings. Um, we need to educate ourselves. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter we have titles and we have uh, that we can read and write, but there's so many things we still need to understand and to improve ourselves in society.
So
We
many.
cannot continue with this. I saw all these movies and documentaries about black people, and it's not fair. And it's not fair as my in my country with all this racism about Zapotecas and Mexicas and well, of not Mexicas, but you know all the part we were talking about
Yeah.
about the South and how sad it is the way people is treated, still treated like they don't belong to society,
Yeah.
and that's a stupid thing. It's just an idiot. It shouldn't be an issue.
No.
It shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't. But it's
21st
global.
century, and we still have to talk like about human rights.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
universe rights.
Hundreds of years
Like
later, thousands of years actually, if you go back to even Egyptian,
exactly.
right? Like, and the Irish were, were enslaved. I mean, it's like, it's global. And that's, I think, why this is all so important is that we think it's, oh, the US. It's not. It's not the US. It's a problem in Mexico, like we were talking about.
Well, you see, I don't know if you saw the beautiful movie of Cuarón, Roma.
No. Oh, Roma.
Oh,
Roma.
Roma,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
And it talks about this beautiful girl coming from South,
Yeah.
being the nanny, but all the love they get these families from her,
Right.
and a lot of persons still educating with love in Mexico.
Yeah.
All these persons, and it's not nice to point them,
No.
them and us.
Yeah.
We should be us. We should be integrated.
Exactly.
But well, you see, with all these horrible politicians we had in all these 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
that try to destroy our nations in so many ways.
Totally.
But with this new president, we have so much hope. He
You met-
said since the beginning, 18 years, he's a social leader, leader, and he says, I will work for the poor people. Nobody understand what he was saying, but we see that he is really working.
Yeah.
You cannot work in a country with 9.5 people in extreme poverty.
Yeah.
And you see all these nasty, horrible presidents living in France, in London, in so many places with 9.5.
Yeah.
Extreme
suffering
poverty.
in the
Exactly. We in a country, incredible country, with the best fruits, the best vegetables, the best weather. But what about society?
Yeah.
Why we let this happen?
Yeah. Well, we are the change, right? We
need to.
And it's not just
we need to be there. We need to hear. I was just so sad about this situation, about these 5 boys that they incriminate for this Central Park
5.
violation.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
12 years in jail.
Yeah.
And well, that happened here, just with the two presidents behind, with a whole family still in jail because a horrible political issue. He's still there, and he's innocent.
The man
You
that's in
know,
jail?
and he's still in jail, and right now with this new president, they're trying to they're trying to work it out in order to take him out
Yeah.
from jail. You see, you have this guy in the States right now. He's gonna be in his jury in July, I think in the end of July, Garcia Luna, and he's the one that put this whole family behind
And he's in the
the
US?
prison. He's in the US because right now he's in prison
Mm.
because
Oh.
he has so many wrong things around him, and he's right now. And we hope, Mexicans hope, that this guy really go to jail
Yeah.
and bring all these innocent people out of the jail.
Mhm.
And also, we're working on these 43 students from Ayotzinapa that they were just taken away from their freedom. We don't know where they are. So these things we cannot allow them to happen.
Sandra,
Yeah.
you grew up in Mexico City, right?
Yeah,
And
we.
go ahead.
I'm like jumping bean. So it's like first Mexico City, then I was in the Pacific in Mazatlan where I grew up, and then went to Guadalajara, and then I went to Canada, and then I came back. And so yeah, Mexico City gives you a huge lesson how to survive and
Yeah.
how to. It's an amazing city. It's
Especially right out of the gate. Like
amazing
that's,
city.
and that's
And culturally speaking, it's like the heart of the entire country.
Don, you've
But
been
we
to
have been
Mexico.
divided, north, center, and south, and this is the time to make peace first in our country to continue on.
Right.
You know, it's like, but it's really hard with the conservatives and all these horrible things about
corruption.
money and taking away land, taking away. Well, you see, it's the first time in 40 years that Walmart paid taxes in Mexico.
Wow.
Really?
Can you believe it?
Wow.
IBM is the first time they paid taxes.
And is this because of this new president?
Yes.
Because they changed.
And nobody talks about that. Nobody talks. You can see all the media, New York Times, Washington Post. Nobody talk about this.
Yeah, I did know
Now
box stores.
they just talk that he is bringing the country to the horrible places and blah 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 blah.
Well, I was going to ask you about that.
He's working in the social issues. He's working about human rights. He's working about respect. We have a rich country that need to be respected.
Yeah.
We don't want to be slaves.
Mhm.
Well, and
We don't have to. Any human being. You see, that's why he's giving all this support to the South, all these beautiful persons, and all the Mayans and Huastecos, all these First Nations. He's giving to the communities the money, not to the parties, not the political parties, to the community to build roads that have at least 70 years that they supposed they were going to be built. So he gave the money directly to the community, and in the less of 2 years, all these little roads, handmade, they're also beautiful. These roads are just built.
Well, I'm so happy.
Less than 2 years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I mean, it's a huge change. It's a huge change, but as we are our society is so many classes.
Yeah.
Of course, we have like 1,000 Mexicos inside one Mexico. it's getting crazy. It's really crazy. It's like rich people are getting like, why he's doing all these things? Why this like huge companies I say, why I have to pay taxes?
Right.
It's not even a question. You have to pay
You
taxes.
do, and you should.
Like a horrible thing that happened. He closed. Like he found these horrible things about fuel. So we have like 2 months having problems to bring fuel to our cars. I mean, the fuel is there, but the last 5 presidents, they use this fuel in different tubes and they sell it in black market. Our own fuel.
Holy crap.
Our own fuel.
They're so
So right
corrupt.
now,
It's so
what
corrupt.
he
It's crazy.
did, he closed all the tubes that
He did?
comes from Pemex, which is the company, the national company, and he realized about all the different ways they were stealing.
See,
and they
Don,
were selling this, and all that money goes to different places, not to the state,
yeah,
because that money goes to social security, blah 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 blah. No,
yeah,
so it's really, it's been a pain in the ass for a lot of persons that they were just living with not paying taxes, not doing the right thing. You know, so
yeah,
it had been so questioned, has been horrible, like all the media, because we know that a lot of it's rented, you know, all the it's rented, all the publicity in media and newspapers, TV, radio. And you see in some other channels like YouTube, like you can, you know, you see all these bloggers, they're not against him, like saying all these true things. Like it was beautiful, the Pride Day, he says, it's not about tolerance. It's a human right. You
yeah,
are a human being. You have to be respected just because you breathe, you eat, you pay taxes, and you are useful to the society.
exactly.
It doesn't have even to have a mark. It
I
doesn't matter. Like, it's intimacy. You
I
live
love
with
this.
another woman. You live with another man.
Yeah,
Enjoy your love,
yeah.
but there's no tolerance. You have a right because you're a human being.
What's
And
your
that
new?
was for the conservadors, for the conservative persons. Wow, it was like horrible. Like, he's crazy. He's gonna destroy families, and so it's crazy.
Sandra, what
Like,
is your president's name? The new president,
it's López Obrador.
Lopez
Obrador.
Obrador.
And we call it
Obrador.
AMLO. AMLO. And we say AMLover.
Obrador.
AMLO. I will send you some images and memes and all these things around.
Okay,
But you
I
see, this country, I come from a family with a lot hardworking people, um, doctors from the 30s, 40s, 50s, where we have the best Medicare, the best education, public education, and then all went to the toilet.
yeah,
So to rescue all that, to rescue values, like the politicians work for the people, not for their personal interests.
yeah,
So when you see he's trying to change, the persons get like, oh, he's gonna be like they always tell something like Chavez, he's gonna be like a dictator, no?
mhm,
Something
mhm.
like, and it's not that's not true.
He's
Of
making
course, we live.
change.
It's a
San-
social democracy,
Yeah.
like when Spain went out of being the ugly duck in Europe with Gonzalez,
Mhm.
this he changed the story of politics and put Spain in the same level than the rest of the countries.
Yeah,
That's what he wants.
yeah,
With this COVID, we realized there was like 300 hospitals There was just the door. They said they were built it, but they were not real built it. It was
There's
just
just
a fence.
I want to ask you about
So
that,
it's like,
Sandra, about COVID. So what has that been like since the beginning? From, I guess, what was it,
you know,
February or March,
it,
Don?
it, 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 it has been a huge controversy because as the country is divided, we are at 32 states. Um, the ultra right, he says it's a tragedy. The ones that are more aware, that they were like some governors, because we call it like that. Now we have the states, there's 32 states with the governor and the municipals, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they're against, they're doing horrible things between who's in charge of the party that is more rich than the other parties that are not. I think the best work has been done in Mexico City.
Why is that?
It's because the persons, their work all together.
Okay.
Because all the
You mean the
horrible
people?
situations of the earthquake, you know, several years since
Oh, the
85
earthquake.
to this last one 3
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
There's more education.
Right. And people are working more together, right?
They're together. It's like, you know, I
And
saw
internet.
this. I was in Mexico City with the last earthquake, and you see this really poor lady with no shoes bringing a kilo of tortillas to deliver to everybody because we haven't eat, because it was all collapsed. You know, it was very difficult to move, and we wanted to see how many people were inside under the building.
Yeah.
And so it's such a contrast city, Mexico City. But there's so much going on of taking care. And this new, how do you call, mayor? It's a woman. She used to work for this president, because this new president used to be Mexico City mayor. It's because if you can rule and you can organize Mexico City, you can organize the whole planet.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, it's like
it's a whole world in itself.
So many. Imagine, we know this horrible virus. As more move you have, as more mobility you have, more contact, more contagious. So imagine the persons in the subway, millions of millions moving south, east, west in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there's still like 30% of the bed of the hospital, not the private, the social
public,
still because it's increasing.
Well,
but
yeah.
imagine the population of the city, the size of the city, and you have other states that is 5 times the size with less population, and they are in worse situation. So it's a matter of a well-organized head.
Yeah.
You see people working to taking care of their citizens.
Can they travel
but
from
also excuse me?
Sorry, can they travel from state to state, Sandra?
Right now, not.
No.
Not yet. In the south, there's 2 states that you can, but still it's very dangerous. It's not it's not right. We have different colors, you know, like orange, red, and right now Jalisco is horrible.
Right.
But you see, our governor did the stupid thing to put us inside houses 2 weeks earlier. And it's so stupid because in the moment that got with the worst, he put us out of the streets. And now we have to come back.
Right. That's what's happening in Canada and the States too. Well, the States, like, more than anything, right? Like, in New York.
But you see, like, I have beautiful friends in New York, doctors, that they're just feeling so bad. of all the things that they had lived, no? But I think also as a human beings, I cannot understand how people still believe this is not happening,
Yeah.
that this virus doesn't exist. It's like, who a hell is saying such a horrible thing?
I know. Yeah. Well, in New York, Don,
We know
have people locked down again? Is it bad or?
Well, in New York compared to other states and other cities in the U.S., it's actually doing better than most. They're sort of semi-opening things. What they have now, I was in Manhattan, the day before yesterday, and they're now opening up. The restaurants can be open, but they have to have an outdoor patio, and the tables have to be a certain amount of distance apart from each other, and you have to wear a mask until your food comes. And
you see,
so
again, human beings, we need to organize ourselves.
Yeah,
and we
we
need
do.
to educate ourselves.
No matter
and
what
all
the
these
government
persons
says.
that are saying that this is a lie, we have to show photos or say, come on, just think about this is happening.
Yeah.
This horrible. But in the main thing, what is COVID telling us to the world?
Yeah. I know.
Is it true? Is it true that it's more important economy than human beings?
Yeah, right.
Is it true that we need our elders to go first than other people? It's just crazy. It's like to make so many questions inside our heart and our head. Like, we need to be together. Economy, it's an abstract situation. Of course, we need to eat. Of course, we need 3 meals per day, but not that much to survive.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a very important, very humble person that I know. He was saying, you need to, because I don't believe it. Well, I'm starting to believe in God, but I mean, I don't believe, I'm an agnostic, but I'm starting to believe that there's something else. For sure. I'm questioning myself.
And we're screwing with it.
He was saying, right now, it's like a Marvel movie, no? Like the bad and the good is fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
on the most base
good.
Yeah, on the basic level. Basic levels, for sure. One thing
we need to understand, like, we need to go back. We need to see inside ourselves. We need to think about others. Right now, we really need to believe in compassion. Like this horrible thing about this black young guy, the way he died, that's not right. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Like a kid here called Giovanni that was murdered because he was not using a mask.
Wow.
It's so stupid. I mean, it's a human being.
Yeah.
And he was killed, and nobody report this. It has to pass a month, so the society, we realize that this guy was killed because of the stupid law of this governor.
Yeah.
Because he was not wearing his mask.
This was in Mexico, Sandra?
This was in Jalisco.
Oh,
in a little city next to Guadalajara.
Right.
So in the moment that you guys were in the streets because of this black young guy was killed, we were in the streets because this young guy was killed.
Because he had no mask on.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's not the way. That's not the way to put education to the people. Not with fear.
Yeah.
Not with fear. Just the right. Just with the right. They like your own will. But to inform, to give the good information to the people.
Yeah.
This can kill you.
Yes.
It's true. It exists, but not with fear.
Yeah. Sandra, let me ask you a question.
So that's a dictator. That's a dictator right there, no? If you don't use a mask, you can be killed. Come on.
Yeah, it's a dictatorship.
The policeman took him into a pickup and bring it to the jail, and he never came back.
Wow.
Sandra, can I ask you a question? I'm going to ask you a
Yes.
question. What is your take, and what does the media in Mexico have to say about all the young kids that have been put into cages at the border at the U.S.? Is that big in the news? Do they talk about it? What is their thought process on
Well,
all of
you
it?
see, it has been horrible. It has been a very, you see, Mexico is between the States and South America, and it comes the beast, the train,
Mhm.
all the way through. Uh, it's a huge issue. We know, and we really worry, and we're really sad. I was just writing with a friend that he's a volunteer. He brings some people from Honduras, Colombia, El Salvador. He has a house and he give food to them. I think our Ebrad, he is the one that's working for external policy,
Okay.
and they're changing a lot the laws because this is a horrible thing. 4 years ago, you still go in the train, you go to the border, but nobody even take your name,
What
and
do
you
you
can
mean?
be killed. I wouldn't. Yes, there were no registration at all.
Which border, Sandra? Are you talking about the U.S. Mexican border?
Mexico and the states, in the
Oh wow.
northern, in the of our north, your
Yeah.
south, the
They
the
wouldn't take your
the,
name?
the they don't even register you. There was no registration. So a lot of persons that just run inside,
Yeah.
they can be dead on the desert, and you don't even have a
I,
name. You don't have
yeah.
any. Where is this person? You
Yeah.
you will never know.
Right.
So right now, what they're trying to do is, okay, you have papers, you have a passport. No, I don't have a passport. Okay, we're gonna try. It's like um, five different ways to do it.
Mhm.
You get into the border, you will give your name. Some people don't even know how old they are, especially persons from Salvador and Honduras. Like,
Wow.
we're talking about really poor people.
Right.
Like, they don't, in
Destitute.
ignorance. You
Yeah.
see? So it's really sad. So they even know they have a name, but imagine the work they have been doing 2 years. From 2 years ago, they're trying to give them a card with their name,
Hmm.
an address. Some they don't even have a phone,
Right.
and then they had been separated. The sad part is when they go and they're already in the States, they have been divided.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And I can understand. I mean, I don't believe, I mean, it's so sad to see all these children, not even the jail, what you said, Paul,
Ages.
how do
Yeah.
you
In the
call
cages. Yeah, they're in
the
cages.
cages?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that, like, even like being separated from the father and the mother.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
just the first wound is being separated from your father or your
Exactly.
mother,
Yeah.
being alone, and then being in a cage. Of course is horrible. Of course that's there's no human rights there.
So
It's a
most.
really sad thing.
So
But what
would you say most of those people are coming from South America and not actually Mexico?
a lot of Mexicans too,
Oh,
for sure.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mexicans, but you see, all these persons comes from. It's like we have these two borders. It's not just one situation to work on. It's not
No.
just our border to the States. It's our border to the
To the
Guatemala, El
south. Yeah.
Salvador, Honduras.
Right.
So it's like these two borders for us is terrible, because also
Yeah.
a lot of horrible things happen in the south border.
Right. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of illegal things going on. Like,
Which is even worse,
they,
right? Like.
it's horrible because there's a lot of persons, like, they buy people
Yeah. Right.
to work with narcos,
Human
like with drug
trafficking.
dealers.
Right.
They
Right.
Yeah.
trafficking with people. But the sad thing is, when you see those cages,
Yeah.
But also you see it with this. I mean, I believe all of us are immigrants. All of us. All of us are
Yeah.
immigrants. First. Second, you see the situation with Syria. All these young persons trying to go to Germany, trying to go to Belgium, trying to. It's a horrible situation. Something's wrong in our planet.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with our politics. Something's wrong with the human beings.
Well, yeah.
Even though you are in the situation because you want a better life for your loved ones.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we
that's
need to change those laws too.
well, and
Well,
that
We
that's the
need to be more
correction.
human. We need to be more respect. We have to have more respect for everybody.
I think it goes back to one of our previous conversations really about education, because if I look at myself personally, like, I grew up in Canada, I grew up in Saskatchewan, and Sandra, in all honesty, when I was a kid growing up, what my idea of what Mexico was, and I think even if I talk to my mom about it, my mom is 83 years old, and I say to her, and I think, maybe our family should go to Mexico on a vacation. She's like, no way, I'll never go to Mexico. It's too dangerous. Because
Yeah, for
we were
sure.
we were educated to believe that what Mexico is drugs, violence, and you would never want to go there. And of course,
It,
I've been fortunate enough. I've been to Mexico City. I've been to Puerto Vallarta, Tijuana, Cancun, Tulum. It's like I've seen the beauty and the magic of Mexico, and I've seen the people. I've met the people, and so I know better. But the education that is given to us as children, and even today, I'm sure kids are not educated on what Mexico is really about.
for sure, beautiful, and that's also a huge guilt. I have the privilege to be educated. I had the privilege to come from the family I come, and now I need to pass. I have 3 works volunteering in public universities to see how beautiful is our country,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to see that we have great thinkers,
Yeah.
and to build this country has been very difficult.
Yeah.
And in very sad situations.
Yeah.
From the 30s to the 70s, it was a huge, huge thing, this country.
Yeah.
And then it collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes to the main thing in the entire world. First, to have, then to be. And that's horrible.
Yeah,
First,
it is.
have to be, and then to have. And it's really, and people will say, oh, that's communism, oh, that's socialism, but it's not true.
It's not true.
See if we see how companies had created these horrible differences between countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, the greed is just out of control. It's all about
You
me,
see
me,
this
me.
also documentary of Rotten. You see these huge companies doing these horrible things all over the places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, I remember being really young, going to Colorado. My parents want me, of course, I'm doing a horrible thing with my English, but I'm trying to express as best I can. We went to Colorado to learn English. And some people would say, you're not Mexican. And I was just like, yes, I'm Mexican. No, you're not Mexican. Yes, they have a different idea of what a Mexican is.
Yeah.
Completely uneducated.
And that was the first time I realized about how different I was.
Yeah.
From a lot of persons around Mexico. And it was really sad.
Now,
And then
Sandra,
excuse me?
Sandra, do you think that with this new president that you have, that things are going to change as far as the idea? Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Mexican people who are trying to make it into the United States to have a better life, they're obviously come from a poorer sect of the Mexican people, right? Not as educated, possibly. Do you think that with this new president that a lot more people will decide to stay in Mexico and to try and make a better life there?
For sure. Like you, right now,
I hope so.
all the huge companies are making huge criticism around PIB. You know, the internal economy,
Okay.
the PIB. You know, okay.
Mhm.
Well, right now it hasn't increased, but had increased the minimum salarium.
Oh, okay.
In 40 years,
Wow. Great.
hasn't changed. Since this president 2 times had been increased.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So right now, what had been increased is in the really poor people had increased 18% of their salary.
That's fantastic.
So it's trying to, you see, but he has been criticized so much because
Yeah.
what it's about macroeconomy. Well,
Yeah.
we need to talk about big companies, but no, it's about internal economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
The
he
big
wants
money
to
will
have
fight that.
his own fuel. That's why he's creating this huge a huge company to create, not to buy gasoline, because we produce oil,
Yeah.
and then we buy more expensive the fuel.
Right. Yeah.
It's so crazy.
That's
It's like,
insane.
I want orange juice, no? So I create the orange, but I sell it to other countries, but then I buy the orange juice on a can.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
nuts. Well, we have that in Canada
No.
too. I was surprised when I was in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I wanted to have a lobster meal, and I was asking one of the guys who was serving me. I said, "So where's this lobster from?" And he's like, "Oh, it's not from here. We sell most of our lobster to the U.S."
Yeah.
Our beautiful tomatoes.
Yeah.
I saw it in the New York market. I saw, oh, these come from Mexico. You know, I was so proud of our tomatoes there.
Yeah.
But well, I have to say that we forgot, and this is what the president, going back to what you said, Paul, is now the fields of tomato, they're also creating new laws in order to half and half the production to Mexico, not the whole production to other countries.
Yeah.
Half and half. So
Yeah.
I hope I will work with this president to
Yeah.
make things
Mhm.
little by little, to my
Yeah.
neighbors, to my students, next to in my family, trying to help. Of course, right now my family is totally divided because they don't believe in this president.
There's still the old way of thinking, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should run for government myself because
No way.
I've learned more
No.
from you in the past, like, what has it been, 15 minutes than I ever have from anyone in Mexico.
No, but
Don and I
you
were
see-
in Mexico over Christmas, just
New
before.
Year's. Yeah.
So we were in your beautiful country I was there for 2 weeks, and I wanted to come to Guadalajara so bad, but I didn't have.
Oh, beautiful!
Mula,
We
mula.
need to connect. Well,
I know.
right now I'm
We'll
taking
come
care of my mom.
Yeah. I
Because
met your
we're
mom.
really taking it's really difficult right now to economy
Yeah.
and so many things, you know, like not because you're well educated you're rich, no. and
Yeah. Right.
and
And
to
you-
be honest with you, and I can be open here, is like, because I give an opinion of the new president, I was taken away from my job.
What?
Yes.
What?
Really, Sandra? Teaching?
I lost my
You
job
lost your
because
job.
giving my opinion.
Wow.
So it has been really
Wow.
hard. It's been really
I'm
hard.
sorry,
and
Sandra.
It's a long way to be safe of what you think.
So
No.
were you were teaching at the university? Is that what you were?
I was the cultural principal of a municipal of Jalisco.
Ah.
like the cultural principle,
Right.
and because I give this uh,
Opinion.
opinion, they just fire me
Well,
So
with
so you have
anything.
there's no law in Mexico that allows you to have free speech.
In Mexico City and some states like Sinaloa, or like in um well, say Veracruz, in different states. But the policy, like the legal thing, when you're working for the government, the municipal
Hmm.
government, the laws are different.
oh,
They're
cool.
independent. They're
Huh,
independent from the federal government.
interesting.
So
Wow.
it doesn't matter.
Well,
But I am trying to stand up and to work and see. Right now it's really difficult to find a job
yeah.
in
What
this
what
situation.
what area would you be looking at? Um, can you make a living off of not selling your art? Can you make a
Not yet.
no?
Not yet.
Not
It's,
yet.
it's a huge, it's a huge 32 years working as an artist, as a professional artist, and still it's difficult. It's
Well, yeah.
difficult.
Your work
But
is so beautiful, Sandra. I want to just show people what some of your work. This is
abstraction.
beautiful. I have always loved your work. I think it's just stunning.
You're
Uh,
so beautiful.
um,
Ooh, I love that.
isn't that beautiful, Don?
Yeah, that's amazing. I love the colors. Oh,
Do people compare you to anyone, Sandra?
Yeah, like
Your influence.
some expressionists from the American school, like Motherwell, or
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish, but yeah,
oh,
no,
that's
I
really
love this
cool.
one.
I love that.
Look at how beautiful you are.
Oh, look at you.
This is your
Those
studio.
are amazing. Those are amazing.
Yeah. You took me to actually one of the most beautiful churches in Guadalajara that had, I think it was Orozco. I don't know how you say his name.
Yeah, we went to the Institute Hospicio Cabañas,
Mm,
that also was keeping all the kids from the revolution.
right. Oh, really?
Hospicio, how do you call hospicio in English? Places where the kids
Oh,
have to go
hospice.
when they don't have father and mother.
Orphanage.
Hos-
Orphanage.
Orphanage or
Orphanage.
hospice. Yeah.
Orphanage.
This was an orphanage. My great grandmother, she was from France, and she came from to take care of the kids of the Mexican Revolution.
Wow.
That's
And there
see, it's in your
made
blood.
and it's beautiful. It is so beautiful that this he's a genius, Jose
Yeah.
Clemente Orozco. You
Yeah.
see this man burning, going to the eternity. No?
Yes. The
And
whole
and the whole murals, all
wolf
the murals.
murals inside the church, Don, are just
Yeah.
I need to get there.
oh, it's gorgeous.
That's there. You see, is like again, like when we have all this bad press about Mexico,
Yeah.
and then we have good press because of Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
God.
Yeah.
But also it's because the Mexico was changing in that moment. They have a huge opinion in the world.
Right.
We have the best painters, the best writers, but of course they were more into socialism, no?
Yeah.
But it was really important to see their ideas there on the walls. It was messages, no? Like
Right.
to make
sure.
art for everybody,
There
Yeah.
and to
forever.
make you think about ideas. That was the Mexico that I believe in.
Yeah.
You know,
The heart of
everybody to have the opportunity to see art, to have education, to have free. Well, right now we see like France is making themselves to think like social health for everybody.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a right. We realize that it's not. You cannot privatize a right.
No. Well, in a way,
health,
the U.S. was forced
health and
into,
education.
yeah, in a
But
way, the U.S. was actually forced into universal health care when COVID hit, because there was no other way to get people the tests, right? They were charging to get tested for COVID, and so they for a moment in time became universal health care, because they still are taking care of everybody. Like people were ending up in hospitals. Who's going to pay for that? Like as you go through your COVID, right?
Yeah,
I think,
there are
and I
some
think
people getting
like
bills though.
What's that?
There are some people that are getting bills though.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure.
like, yeah, it's a
it's
mixed
really
bag.
sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure it
very
is.
Like
sad.
my friend in New York, she was saying, no, like you have to take care of the persons that come with the security,
Yeah,
no, with health insurance,
yeah,
Insurance.
of course,
insurance,
right?
and it's like I have to take care of everybody that comes. I cannot
Yes.
just take care of the. And it was a big discussion in the hospital she was working.
Oh, I'm sure.
She's an immigrant from third generation, and she was like, I promised something as a doctor,
Mhm.
you know. I
Yeah,
Yeah, you made an
promised
oath.
something that I need to take care of everybody,
no matter what,
but
no matter if you have insurance or
and
not. Like, yeah,
it's just that's the point, no, that's something that it really limit us. I think if you can pay, perfect, and it's great that there's private hospitals. Thank God that exists.
what's that
But
situation in Mexico, Sandra?
what
What is your healthcare system there?
well, you see, you have since the last 3, 4, 5 presidents, they
Yeah,
wanted to privatize,
of
you
course. Yeah.
see. And
Mula,
it's
mula.
really sad because money, everything's about money.
It's
Yeah.
all about money.
Again, my mother, father, my how do you say, my mom's father, my father's mom,
Yeah.
uh,
Your mom's father. Yeah.
was sent it he was sent it to London to get the know-how of social security.
Oh,
So he came to Mexico from all this knowledge and started the Mexican Social Institute of Medicine. He was a great doctor. And
wow.
it was the best. And you can see it in this movie in Roma. It's like you can go to the hospital, you just give your name,
Yeah.
and you have the best doctors working for you.
Right.
I'm talking about
Huh.
the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
And
all
then
collapsed.
it all changed. Yeah.
And
Right.
because of COVID, we realize how vulnerable
yeah.
and the worst, like the impunity, like the most corrupted system. Like you see the directors of these hospitals will buy the medicines 1,000 times more expensive,
Yeah.
and they will do money between the companies and the medicine.
It's really no different than the States then, right?
It's again money, no, it's
Yeah.
like
It's all about money.
really is that important, like of
Do you
course it's beautiful. I think it's an instrument, it's
Yeah.
an incredible instrument to do things,
Of course.
but that doesn't have to be the goal. No, it doesn't have to be the main thing.
Yeah.
I think we need to take care of our children, we need to take care of our elders, we need to take care of poor people.
So is the medical system still under this president? Is he working on
He's changing the
reform?
whole thing right now. He just inaugurated 3 new hospitals, huge hospital.
Amazing.
One in Cuernavaca, which has the most incredible instruments, and he's trying to do in the entire country, because
Good.
there were so many lies
Yeah.
around it, like these hospitals that he start going to visit them,
Yeah.
and
And
suddenly they just see a gate,
right.
but in the money that was taken for those constructions,
Nowhere to be found.
where is this money?
I love
Yeah.
this guy. I love him. He's amazing. I hope he
It's
changes
like
the
he's
whole
doing
face of
like
that country.
it
And
needs to change, but
it'll take a lot of time.
it takes time. I don't know, like 6 years, it won't be enough of all
Yeah.
the things he wants to do.
Yeah.
But at least he's doing things. At
Yeah.
least he's working. At least he's putting people to see all the horrible things they had done.
Transparency. Yeah.
Like, imagine that the last president, he has 8,000 persons to work for him, just to take care of him. 8,000.
Don has that in New York. Like you have a whole team, don't you, Don?
Yeah,
I have
well,
like 8,000 man entourage.
you see what the first thing
You're
he
getting
did
depressed.
is like, he says, no way, nobody's gonna take care of me, I take care of myself.
Well, and
So
he's gonna have all those people with money up against him, right? All the people who were into the private system
All
of
of
medical. He's
All
got
of
that
them.
fight ahead of him. So like,
you have the financial newspaper. Every single day they will give him a headache.
yeah.
They
Oh
will
yeah.
be against him, that he's doing stupid things, that he's a how do they call, they say horrible things about him. And his wife, that she has a doctorate in literature,
Right.
also has been so criticized because she took away the name of the first lady. She says there's no first lady here, we are all ladies or we're not ladies. So she took that away, and when she presents herself, she will say, I'm AMLO's wife. That's it. No first
Right.
lady.
Right.
So this create a whole, with these very, very superficial magazines, like, oh, she's doing this horrible thing.
Yeah.
We need to
Unrest.
keep traditions of the first lady, and
Shut up.
yeah.
Well,
She
people have
cries like she's
a hard time with change.
definitely.
When you step away from tradition, people get really upset. And it's just such a ridiculous thing, because without change, there is no movement and there's no progress
Exactly.
in the
There's
world.
no evolution.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it has to happen. Change has to happen.
Well, and it comes from the
some were really happy to have this new couple.
Mhm.
Like the main house, like you guys have the White House in the States, no?
Yeah.
Well, we have here the Los Pinos. He took all the house away and he created a museum,
Really?
Oh, wow.
a cultural center.
I
Oh,
love
that's
it.
interesting.
I'm moving to Mexico.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Such
But
balls.
the
I
persons were
love
saying,
it.
oh, like, we need the president to, why he's doing these things, like he has so many persons to visit him, why he's doing that horrible thing.
Yeah.
When you see the house, oh my God, the house is huge. So I went to do a show there, and it's beautiful. And right now there's a lot of doctors that work around.
Mhm.
They have their beds and they give food for them, because they have like 72 hours working,
Yeah.
all the doctors.
Well, because
And
it's so
now
bad there right now, right?
this cultural center is full of beds of doctors,
I kind of love
4
that.
doctors.
I mean, I don't love it, but I think that's an incredible thing, actually. Like, imagine the
That's
White House
that's
being full of
that's
beds.
the infrastructure you have. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to build huge things. Like, you have to do in a practical way, and it doesn't matter if it's the presidential houses. You need to have a place to keep these doctors
Yeah.
safe,
It just has to be.
because they're taking care of so many people. No,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
he's really like human.
Yeah.
It's human values,
Exactly.
and it's hard to see it in a politician.
Well, and that's what's lacking in some. Well, in this and in America, especially, right, Don, is that
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
you
It's,
watch
The corruption,
the big
everything
keto
about
there.
money. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me nervous, though, is the fact that it sounds like he's such an incredible person and he's making incredible changes, that the people who have the money, that are losing money, that are against him, it sounds horrible to say, but
It's
assassination
really
attempt.
dangerous.
Yeah, like he would need some good security to take care of him, because that's the type of person they'd want to kill, sadly.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sadly, as a social leader that he is, we see all the things with Martin Luther King. We see
All the
persons that they
Kennedy.
want to change.
Yeah.
We know, but this guy, like, he has been criticized because he takes commercial flights.
Yeah,
He doesn't have his private airplane,
yeah,
and everybody, I'm really concerned about that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a security risk
it
for
will
sure.
be a disaster if something happens to him. But it's
Yeah.
so true what you're saying.
Because other
It's-
people might die in the process of them trying to kill him, because they want to get him out of power, because they're losing money or whatever it is. And it's sad to think that, but it's a possibility.
his main guy in police. He just got shot
Oh,
Wow.
last week.
Yeah. See, that's
yeah.
The
That's a-
message is because right now they're bringing the guy that steal everything from the fuel industry. He has been all the search, and right now he's in Spain and he's in jail, and he's gonna bring it here for a
Good.
trial.
Good.
And the message is there because this guy used to work for all this gang.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they're trying to kill all these persons just to shut down.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a
Oy.
very difficult political situation with all the good things he wants to make. But it's true. It can be
dangerous.
danger. There's a lot of danger right now.
Aero Mexico just filed for bankruptcy, so he won't be going on planes too much longer.
Is these guys from Aeromexico also never pay taxes?
Oh,
They don't owe their airplanes. They lie for, and they're so rich, so
wow.
rich.
Then
And
you
what
get
they
what you.
did, they're giving him like his fault because he didn't want to help them,
Yeah.
and he says, why I have to help you? You
Right.
don't pay your
Mhm.
taxes. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to bankrupt. Do it.
It's like, sorry, you. Yeah.
Do it. And
You made your
it's
bed.
really sad because right now United Arab Airline
Yeah.
Yeah. United
is
Arab
right now in
Emirates.
Mexico, and they're like, well, if this guy doesn't want to, this is the sad thing. They're Mexicans against Mexicans. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the story. That's the Mexican real politic and social history.
Yeah. Right. Reality.
Traitors.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the bottom line. Imagine these guys. They have, I don't know how many. How do you call in the when you go to Wall Street? They have a lot of
Bankers or financial.
Stocks, shares.
Oh,
the
shares.
stocks, and now they're trying to sell the stocks, get the money, and put
Start
the
again.
president that he is putting everybody of this company without. Exactly. And this is so sad because it's like now in the media it's going to be because the president didn't want to help. Now
Yeah.
1,000 persons are not going to have salary, blah, 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 when they have the money to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
They have the money to.
They're doing it out of
So it's-
political gain. They're making him look bad, even though they didn't have to do it.
Vicious.
technically.
Vicious.
It's happened in America too.
Yeah.
all the when he has every single morning he has a chat with newspapers and radio stations. There's a lot of bots,
Yeah.
and now they realize who is buying those bots
Ah.
and trolls and all these things.
Oh yeah.
To take him away.
Oh
So
yeah.
now the president of Twitter is gonna be. They're gonna have an interview because they realize all the huge companies that are buying these trolls and bots against
Yeah.
him.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's
So
the same in the U.S. So all those people
totally.
at rallies, I think they're all paid to be there. Really, I mean, uh, they're coming from all the different states. It's like they can't get the people of the state to come, so they'll get all the goofballs from every other state to come in and pose, right?
this is one of the most rich guy that owns a TV channel, and he has stores and factories and the whole thing. He never want to close his stores doing the COVID.
Right.
I don't know. It's like 300 already persons had died,
Oh my
and
God.
he's one of the ones against the president.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's
Of
just
course.
these
Well,
persons are sick, like
yeah.
look, the three countries together.
Yes, we are united.
Not like a flag. not
I'm
like
in the
a flag.
middle even. I'm in the middle.
You are. We're slowly gonna
You're
squirt
so
you.
cute.
I have to sign off. We have a couple minutes left. My friends and patriots and compatriots and compadres. I
Vientos.
yeah, I love you guys so much. This was like a really important conversation today that I'm sure everyone listening has like, and Dawn and I have, our brains are exploding from learning all of those.
Overload. Overload.
Oh my God,
I
Sandra,
just
I
I just wish we get better as brothers and sisters in the whole planet.
yeah,
I think America, the States, Canada, and Mexico need to unite, not just for trading, not just for commerce, just to get together,
yeah,
fight for human rights,
yeah,
gay rights,
yeah,
and be together.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
completely.
important, of course, companies, it's important persons to have jobs, but first our dignity and love,
Yeah, we have to
Yeah,
what
stand
we
in
need.
solidarity.
Definitely, that's what we need.
Yeah.
definitely.
Solidarity, educating, all what we can do for others. Just let's try to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Sandra, you may have lost your job, but you might have a new one as the.
Definitely.
I see
I'm
politicians.
gonna be selling tiny little paintings, and we'll see.
You could sell massive. Maybe you should start doing murals all over, all over Guadalajara. That's your
I
pro.
will.
Yeah.
I love you.
I need to see it. Right now, it's kind of like it's difficult, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, when I
There's
first,
always a way.
when the last time I saw you, I think I thought the world was ending, and Y2K. I think it was 20 years ago, actually, this year.
20 years ago, baby.
And I came to Mexico, to Guadalajara, and you took me to this beautiful, magical town south of Guadalajara named Pátzcuaro, I think. And I thought
We went to Michoacán for sure.
yes.
Michoacán.
And I thought that was the end of the world. I thought, well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die with Sandra at the the pyramids in southern Mexico.
It's so true. It's so true.
We thought that was it. We're like holding hands. This is it. Goodbye, everybody.
I love you. You love me. Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
You see, it's evolution. It's another way. We'll see. We'll see. We need to learn so many things and
Yes.
just try to be as positive as we can. No?
Exactly.
Like,
Well, you've helped us learn so much today. Thanks, Sandra, for joining us, and I
hope you understand.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God, yeah.
We
For
understand.
sure. And it was so nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
It's been forever.
Yes. Yeah, I exist.
So
I'm real.
You
yeah,
are real.
we'll come visit you. Dawn and I will come visit you in Mexico.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. That will be a pleasure.
And
Be
good
my
luck.
pleasure.
Good luck in finding a job. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank
things
you.
get better in Mexico for COVID and the cases, and we might have you back again too to just check up and see how things are going.
It will be my pleasure. Really, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Take care,
Send you my
Sandra.
love and
All the best.
Thanks,
the
Sandra.
best for everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Uh,
She's amazing.
I mean, the woman is just a force. I've always loved her. I knew it would be a great chat because she is always changing things and moving and shifting and I think
She's so passionate about it
yeah,
all, like not just the political stuff, but just life and wanting people to just come together. It's like a true passion, and she really feels it. And I think that's a big thing that I think a lot of I think if you look at the European countries and South American countries, they have such a different mentality than we do in North America. Like as far as the US and Canada, our mentality is very different compared to theirs. And it's kind of shocking to me sometimes because Mexico is just right there.
right.
And it's like, but their idea of life and how they want to live is so different. And maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a big part to do with the family dynamic coming right from the house.
Yeah.
Meaning like their family is everything to them all the time, and they will be there for them forever until they die. Whereas in America, especially, and Canada, it's like we grow up, okay, we have to get a college degree, we have to go to university, we have to make X amount of money, we have to get married, we have to have kids, and we have to buy 4 houses and have 3 cars and 2 dogs, and it's all about this material stuff that we have to have.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. I think that might be one of the key issues.
I think so too, and it's a European way of life as well. Like in Portugal and I think in China too, people live with their family for quite some time, right?
They do, yeah. In China is very much a working class country, though, as far as like some of those people work 16-hour days.
That's true.
And it's all about making
live
enough
to
money
work,
to
work to
feed
live.
their families, like, and having to be something. I think Europe is a really good example
Yeah.
of how I think they're living a much simpler way of life.
Yeah.
And they're much more devoted to family, and it's not about how much you have all the time. Yeah, they want to have things. There's nothing wrong with wanting things, but having to have it to be happy,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Exactly. Well, that was just a really great education, that's for sure. Like Christina in Ireland, it's like I mean, we're right here, Don. Like you're right there on the border, and we were just in Mexico. I didn't know any of this was going on. Like, I mean, I had an idea, but we're so stupid. We go down there, we party, we whatever, lay on the beach, and we think that's our reality of what's happening to our neighbors. But there's so much more going on, and I'm really glad Sandra came on and educated us on.
That's why I think a lot of times too, and going back to education again, it's like for the young people, it's kind of like my nieces and nephews. I have one niece who travels a fair bit, and you can tell that she travels a fair bit because she's educated in that way, and she's really open to lots of different type of people. But I have my younger nieces and nephews who haven't traveled really much yet. They've traveled in the States and in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to buy them plane tickets and send them to Berlin or something, or to South America, or to, Argentina, just to or Ireland, to get them to understand that there's different ways of living and different people's lives. I think travel is such an invaluable thing.
It's super important because most people are just watching their TVs. Like for our parents in Saskatchewan, my mom and dad had to watch the 11 o'clock news every night. And that was their reality of what countries were like. Like when I remember calling my mom from New York and saying, "Mom, I'm at Grand Central Station in New York." And the first thing she would say to me, "Oh my God, be careful." Like what? Be careful. But that was her thing, right? It's just negative news of the negative murders and everything's bad.
They get all their information from the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And people still do. It's like no one is watching like the History Channel or maybe even the Food Network when they're at different locations throughout the world. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really kind of frustrating because I think that if all these people did that,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about people who need to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about people like you and me because we're enlightened,
Yeah.
but some lady living in Oklahoma
Yeah.
in a trailer with her husband and 3 kids, they should be going on a trip to South America, to Mexico City, to Guadalajara, like, and not a resort in Cancun.
Exactly.
You know?
Don, there's actually a really great movie. I wanted, just because we're talking about this right now, you reminded me of this incredible documentary called A Free Trip to Egypt. And it's amazing thing. I'm not sure where you can stream it, but you can Google it. It basically takes a bunch of Americans. This one man who's Canadian, actually, I think he's from Ottawa. He took a group of Americans of all different types, sizes, and sorts to Egypt. And because and actually they experienced the culture, the religion, and to see the transformation from the way they were in a sort of racist kind of ideal of what they thought the country was like and what the people were like. And when you come face to face with another human being, it's a total different experience.
Completely.
Right. And that's what you and I have experienced because we've been to Turkey and Iran and Israel and so many different places that, right. So,
just talking about it now, really, it's like, it's, if I won the lotto tomorrow, I could afford to do that. But I think within my wheelhouse of what I could do is I think I'm going to make a conscious effort that, like, when my nieces and nephews graduate from high school, as a gift to them, I think I'm going to buy them like a plane ticket to go somewhere, even if it's not that far away, but somewhere for them to adventure a little bit and to learn about other cultures, because they're wonderful kids. They're wonderful kids, and I'm not saying they're racist or anything, but they've never met other people from other cultures to really understand it.
No.
And they're, like I said, they're not bad kids. They need to experience it.
What they have, and that's my whole point of, like, over the past couple of weeks is, like, it's really important to educate the kids, the next generation, because they are the leaders of this, right? They're the next leaders.
They are. And it's also, going back to our family discussion, it's like, it all starts with the family. It's like let's say my 16-year-old nephew was to meet a trans girl in Mexico City. Can you imagine how that changes his perspective on the world? Like, it would be mind-blowing.
Special that is.
Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
I know. Don,
can I do one thing? Can I ask you to do one thing for me?
Please do.
Just as a plug, because you've heard of it, but my dear friend Jackson Katt Williams, who I've known for a very long time, he is trans. He's transitioned from female to male. And just a quick story about him. He before he transitioned, he actually had cancer, and he had to get a double mastectomy. And he was so brave and fought through that and was incredible. And he also has a rare blood disorder as well on top of that. So he has fought his whole life, and he's young. He's 49, I think, 49, 50. Fought his whole life to get over these illnesses, and he has just found out recently that his cancer has come back. And it's spread to his lungs and is in his lymph nodes, and he's fighting the good fight. And they have done a GoFundMe page for him. And I was hoping I could share it with you, if you could be so kind as to share it with our audience.
Yeah, please.
I just put it into the chat, the private chat thing, if you want to pop that onto your screen. That would be so appreciated. We're just trying to raise a little bit of money for him, because we don't want him to have to worry about medical bills and just concentrate on getting better. And I had a Zoom meeting with him last night, and there's a whole group of us, and it was awesome. And he looks fantastic, and his spirits are really high, and the doctors are working hard to help him. But like I said, these medical bills are going to start piling up.
Well,
And so-
yeah. Well, people can't really cut and paste that, I don't think, but I think you can go to GoFundMe. I put it in the regular chat as well, but you can go to the GoFundMe.com and then I'm sure, just type in the search "Help Jackson Fight Cancer." It looks like.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? Any bit counts. Like even just $5, $10. It all adds up. Like anything you can give.
Yeah,
Please,
because
if you
1,000
could.
people give $10, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And even more importantly, share the link. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it on your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever. Just get the word around. It'd be so much appreciated.
it's really nice of you, Don, to like help out, because that's well, it's the US.
He's also just a very special person. He's like,
Yeah.
he's always been there for everyone else
Right.
in his life, and it's time for him to get some help, I think.
Yeah. What a horrible set of circumstances too. Not only to be going through the change, that physical change and transformation, but then to be fighting that fight as well as
it's not fair. It's not fair.
Well, hopefully
Okay.
that'll make a difference, and I hope you're okay, and stay safe in New York.
For sure, and I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure. Thanks for having me on as your co-host. I know I had to help last minute, but I'm sure you'll have Tim come back and kick some butt with you one day too.
Yeah, I probably won't talk to him again, but that's okay.
He's such a jerk.
I think everyone's a little busy right now, especially doctors.
I think so. Yeah, we'll give him a little bit of leeway on this.
Yeah, psych doctors are a little bit busy right now.
What do you mean, psych doctor?
Anyway,
Tim's a psych doctor?
Yeah,
Has he been psychoanalyzing me this whole time?
No, but he's ready to take an appointment with you as soon as possible.
Can you do me a favor and just put your head just closer to the side of the screen?
I think you're a hologram because your shirt keeps disappearing. I don't think you're actually a real person.
I'm American. I'm not I'm a robot.
Of the USA. Happy Nation Day.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go out and have a cocktail now. So all the best.
Idea. Thanks, Don, for being an excellent co-host. I wish I had music to play you off, but ladies and gentlemen, Don Ackerman, say goodbye to Chat. Oh no, you're not with Chat. I keep thinking you're in Nashville.
I'm trying to.
Wait. Let me do it for you.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Soon.
Take
Thanks
care.
for coming on.
You're welcome. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yay. Well, that was a really great stream today. I'm so glad I came back to have these conversations with everybody. Thanks to Sandra. We were going to get into a few more points, but I think I've hit probably my maximum on time here streaming. So, but I think we hit some good points, folks. So please keep wearing a mask. The numbers are okay in Canada, but we still don't get too excited because, as you can see, Mexico started to open and now they're closing. So that is also happening in the States. We just need to keep going. Let's just keep vigilant with the masks. Certain countries that wear masks as part of their daily regimen because of pollution or whatever, like Thailand, Japan, China, they have low counts. So it obviously helps. And hey, why not? If we can do that little thing and it makes a little bit of difference or some difference, just do it. And social distance too, as well. Really important, guys. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you what day is it? I'll see you Tuesday. Around the World with Duff. I'll be on with my cousin Glenna, who's in Grand Cayman, and really looking forward to talking to her about the Caribbean life and what's going on down there. Okay, thanks guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you this coming week. Have a great Independence Day weekend. And thanks again.